Hello everybody, the Bot Builder back for another video, and today is a very special video. As some of you know, I very recently hit 100 subscribers and I did a Q&A, but one video I was planning on doing, just in case if I ever hit 100 subs, was my top 10 favourite UK Robot Wars competitors. Oh yes, this should be one very fun video for me to do. This was a very hard list to do, actually. There are so many fantastic robots that I like, and so many robots that didn't quite make the list that that would easily make a top 20 or 30 even. There are so many robots that could have been on this list. So with a massive list like this, I've obviously given myself some limits. Obviously, Robot Wars, robots only. They have to have appeared on TV. So no robots from the live shows or robots that have done well in the live shows. So basically, no Iron Ores, because let's be real, Iron Ore 6 really could have done way better in Series 10. They're a fantastic machine, but like, I would never put them on the list based on their Series 10 performance. If I was doing a live show video, they would definitely be on there, but in a video like this, no. This is based on their Robot Wars performances, not how they did in Battle Bots or King of Bots or whatever. This is the UK series only, so I won't be putting in robots like Panzer or Drillzilla or Scrap Tusaw, any of those robots that I really like from the foreign series. So no Black Hole either. And yeah, and obviously this is my opinion, my list. I know not a lot of people are going to agree with me, but with such an expansive thing like this, tons of people are going to disagree, tons of people are going to agree. This list was incredibly difficult to make, honestly. But I've got a top 10, I'm quite happy with it, so let's just jump right into it. And number 10, Tsunami. Oh boy, this is already a very interesting robot to start the list. But Tsunami are one of my favourites. Basically, now, I'm not sure how many of you know this, but Series 7 is one of my favourite series, which is a big controversial choice. I know loads of people don't like Series 7, but I really liked it. Just because I felt it had, like, the overall best quality of robots and had some of the best fights, in my opinion, of all time. Like Tsunami versus Exterminator, or Storm 2 versus Tornado, which were all brilliant fights, and there were some quote-unquote newcomers, which were actually upgraded robots from the International Series that debuted, and this was one of them. This is Tsunami. Now, obviously, Tsunami were in the German wars. I didn't take their German series into account, no, and even then, and even then, they weren't really the most interesting robot in German Wars. They were a wedge flipper that was black. They were a generic wedge flipper. They did alright, got second place, but considering that the other robots in the German Wars were Thorgrim and Deldog and Tyke, that's not really too impressive. But when they upgraded them for Series 7, they really improved it, and honestly, they were one of the most unluckiest robots in Series 7, in my opinion. If they didn't try and go for that out of the arena flip and left Exterminator hanging there on the arena sidewall, this robot really could have been a strong contender for the series, honestly. They could have won it, in my opinion. Like, they would have beaten Saint Aggro and Bulldog Breed with ease, in my opinion, due to the strength of the flipper. It was incredibly low to the ground. It was able to get underneath Exterminator's front scoop, which is something that Saint Aggro and Bulldog Breed couldn't do. And I'm pretty sure they were able to beat. I'm pretty sure they could be able to beat Typhoon if they were able to stop the spinner and charge straight in while the spinner was charging up. And against Storm 2, well, that'd be an interesting fight. But yeah, I just really like this robot. I mean, they got to a heat final. Impressive stuff there. I wish they would have done a bit better. Wish they would have won. Hence why it's number 10. But they're a great machine. Always flipping fantastic. And their heat final with Exterminator is one of my favourite fights of all time. So it's also got that going for it. Great robot. Love Tsunami. Easily the best German robot. Number 9, Storm 2. We have another bit of a Series 7 veteran here, Storm 2. Yeah, I really like this robot. I mean, I know loads of people don't like it because they think it's a boring Rambot, but as for me, I love a good Rambot. I really like a good Rambot, and Tornado is also a robot I really like. They're not on the list though because Storm 2 is, in my opinion, is Tornado on steroids. Jesus Christ, how many times am I going to say in my opinion? Storm 2 are essentially Tornado on steroids, and this robot is a beast. They were incredibly quick, and basically what cemented me putting on the list was the out the arena push they got on the Steel Avenger. That moment instantly made me fall in love with Storm 2. Fantastic robot, brilliant. Although the only reason it isn't any higher is because, well, don't want to sound rude here, but Ed Hoppit isn't the greatest sport in the world. I mean, he's still, well, from what I've heard, he's still a bit bitter about the Series 7 final. I can understand considering that, well, it was a really controversial decision, but, like, it's, you should just get over it at this point. And it kind of does lesser my opinion on the actual robot, but the actual robot is brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I know they were in Series 8 as well, but they weren't quite as impressive in Series 8. I didn't feel the magic that they had in Series 7 was quite there. But the Series 7 version of Storm 2, excellent robot, and was easily one of my favourite parts of Series 7. It's one of the reasons I like it so much. Oh, and also they won the New Blood tournament, but the New Blood tournament wasn't very good. But they won that. Number 8. Supernova! This robot's just fantastic. Let me just get out of the way. I love this robot. This robot is brilliant in... And why is it? Well, despite not even winning a heat, in fact, they've dropped out in the first round on 3 separate occasions, I don't care because it's one of the most entertaining robots. Like, whenever it hits a robot, it just goes flying. It goes pinging off into outer space. And whenever it hits a robot, man, the blows it can dish out. Like, I mean, I know loads of people will say that Series 6 Heat H, I believe it was the heat they were in, was not a great heat. Yeah, it wasn't really a great heat, but Supernova made that heat watchable for me. Although, I'm quite annoyed that they didn't win that heat. Spawn again, no, definitely got very lucky in that. But yeah, they're just an incredibly entertaining machine. The Series 6 version is my favourite, hence why the image of it. I mean, I like the Series 9 version, but it doesn't feel as iconic to me with the Superman logo on it and the blue. I just prefer the paint job of the Series 6 version, although the Series 9 version was great as well. Very unlucky to get drawn up against Ironside and to get drawn up against the likes of Ironside and Pulsar. If they were in a different heat, they could have done much better. But yeah, Supernova, great robot, and probably one of the best robots to never make it out the heats, in my opinion. Number 7, Carbide. Oh man, Carbide. Yeah, this robot is one of the most successful robots of all time. I think you can see why I like Carbide. I love a good spinner. Carbide is one of my favourites. One of my favourites from the Reboot series as well. This is the first robot representing the Reboot. And why do I like it so much? That blade is vicious. One of the most destructive robots I've ever seen. They are absolutely brutal. And yeah, Series 9 champion and 2-time runner-up. They're just they've had one of the best overall performances, and retiring at a runner-up stage is a very good decision. I will say I prefer Cobalt, the robot that they currently have now. I prefer that to this, because I prefer verticals to horizontals, but Carbide is just great fun to watch to me. Just shredding up, shredding up armor pieces is brilliant. And they've appeared in some of my favourite fights of all time, like Carbide versus Nuts 2 versus Bearmore, Carbide versus Gabriel, Carbide versus Apollo in the Series 8 Grand Final, and well, many more. Yeah, and Carbide versus Eruption, the Series 10 Grand Final, which was a fantastic fight. They're just a great machine, great fun to watch. Yeah, yeah, there's not really much you can say about Carbide. Really, it's just awesome. Number 6, Firestorm. Yeah, you knew this robot was going to show up on the list eventually. I've never met a single Robot Wars fan that doesn't like Firestorm. And I don't. And if someone does hate Firestorm, I don't know why they would. It's brilliant. It's great fun to watch. Alex Mordew and Graham Bone are two of the best drivers in the sport, and they are easily the greatest front hinge flipper of all time. Like, some would argue Envy. Yeah, Envy's good, but Firestorm really are the most well known. And whenever someone thinks front hinge flipper, they think Firestorm. If they think push to exit, then go tell them to watch the original series. Firestorm are just brilliant. They're great. They're a great machine. And well, they're one of the reasons I like front hinge flippers too. And they too have also appeared in several great fights. Like, there are so many great Firestorm battles, like like their fight in the Commonwealth Carnage against Bondi, Titch, and Weldor 4. That was a good fight. Their fight against Razer in Series 5. One of my favourite battles of all time, that. Yeah, I should do a list on my top 10 favourite fights. Maybe in the future. I'm planning on making top 10s a thing. That I'll do more of. But yeah, Firestorm. I've got nothing bad to say about it. Apart from maybe sometimes sometimes their fights can be a bit over and quick, although the quick fights are entertaining as well, just with how beautifully it flips the robots over. Especially their fight against Crash and Asher in Series 3. That was a great knockout. Right, number 5, Gravity. My favourite international robot of them all. Yeah, this is the last Series 7 represent, and Gravity are just brilliant. They are a great robot. Easily the most powerful flipper I've ever seen in the classic series. Like, I saw their fight against Hydra, Hodaf the Bad, and 4, and that flip they got on Hydra, where they did like a double backflip, left me mesmerized, and it landing on the arena wall so hard it broke. It was a spectacle, man. Like, I'm telling you. And yeah, I kind of wish they would have beaten Tornado. But I don't think they would have won the series. But I don't care, because it's just so entertaining to watch. It's just a great fun machine, and yeah, it's not the best robot in the world. There are several robots who could easily beat it if with better driving skill. But they're just a great, entertaining machine to watch, and definitely my favourite Dutch robot. And number 4, Bearmore. Yeah. If you can't make a top 10 favourite robots list without including this battle-hardened veteran. Bearmore, I just have nothing but respect for them, just competing in every single series since Series 2, and I have another reason why I like them. They were in the first episode I remember seeing. Yep, the first episode I remember seeing was Series 3 Heat B, and just seeing this JCB-like robot with a massive scoop that can get in underneath and flip robots up, it left a pretty big impression on me. Even though they did lose the Heat, I sort of fell in love with them, and my love for them was greater expanded when I watched the first World Championships, especially in that final fight against Razer. Yeah, which is my second favourite fight of all time. If you're wondering what my favourite fight of all time is, Apollo versus Bearmore. Yeah, another Bearmore fight. I'm going to say this right now, if Bearmore is in a fight, you can guarantee it's going to be a good one, because I can't name a single dull Bearmore battle, because all of them are just great. They always lose in a spectacular way, because it's such a big robot. It's always funny to see a big robot fail, but when they win, you feel so happy for them, because the team are known for getting so much bad luck. It's entertaining in defeat and loss. Oh wait, no, I just named a terrible Bearmore battle. I figured out a terrible Bearmore fight. It was Cherub versus Bearmore was awful. But aside from that, all the other Bearmore fights were brilliant. Or, well, or at least good. At least good. Yeah, so there's Bearmore. Number 3, Aftershock. My favourite robot from the reboot. Yeah, I'm kind of a bit of a huge fan of Team Shock. You can tell in my Extreme Robots video where I was just screaming in the background, "Come on, Manta! Flip him out!" in that fight against Ripper. I'm quite a huge fan of Team Shock, and Aftershock, I actually fell in love with them when, in Series 8, they had Shockwave, and I thought it was such a cool robot. But then Aftershock was made, and after seeing Series 9 Hite, I just was like, yep, this robot's immediately one of my favourites. That spinner is the best vertical spinner in Robot Wars at the moment. It's vicious, destructive, it can self-right the robot, it reduced rapid to, well, what was the thing Jonathan Pierce said in their fight against Carbide? Burgers and beans? I think that's what they said. And it's always destructive, always entertaining. Whenever it has a spinner meet spinner, it's always going to be entertaining. Their fight against Big Nipper, even though they lost, that massive collision was still pretty big and quite impressive they were able to survive that. And they've also appeared in some other brilliant fights over the years, like their fight against Sabretooth was one that I remember vividly, reducing it to, well, scrap. And their fight against Eruption in Series 9. Best fight in Series 9. That really isn't saying much, considering most of the fights in Series 9 were just Carbide owning robots. I mean, I don't hate those fights. I think those fights are fine, but we never really had a fight like Aftershock versus Eruption in Series 9. And yeah, great robot. Really like Aftershock. Favourite of the Team Shock robots, and considering they have Manta and Shockwave, that's saying a lot. Number 2, Disco Inferno. Okay, I'm going to need to do a bit of explaining here. Everyone has that one really not very good robot that they really like for some reason, like, for example, Rara and Detonator. I really hope Agent Rara doesn't come round my house to assassinate me. And Disco Inferno's my robot for that. I like this robot way too much, despite it being a robot that's failed in the first round twice and only reached the heat final once and has lost a fight against Shadow of Napalm and Major Tom. But why do I like Disco Inferno so much? I'll tell you why. First impressions. Yeah, if a robot has a good first impression, you can guarantee I'm going to instantly like it. And what was my first impression of Disco Inferno? Extreme. They ripped the face off Velociriptor, they battered Common Getorix, and then they killed everyone in the Annihilator, including Panic Attack. Yeah, kind of wish they did that well in the actual main series. Well... yeah, that's the reason I like Disco Inferno. It just left a really good first impression. And ever since then, I just sort of grew to like it even more and more and more, into developing into a bit of a small meme within About Me. Yeah, it's just a great machine. It's okay. It's a good robot. It's not a fantastic robot, but I like it anyway. I like it too much. And I can't put it anywhere but number 2, just because I like this robot way too much than I should. Although, every time I see it fight, I'm either left with happiness or massive disappointment. That's because I like it so much. But what you're wondering what my number 1 favourite robot of all time is? Well, before we get to number 1, I think I should say a few honourable mentions. So, some robots that didn't quite make it onto the list. Chaos 2, Hypnodisc, Dominator 2, Terahertz, Apollo, Ironside 3, Atomic 2, Cobra. I really like the Belgian robot Cobra for some reason. I don't know, I quite like it. Tornado, PP3D, Gabriel, Stinger. All great robots I like that didn't quite make the list. There are several more. But my number one favorite robot of all time is Razer. Yeah, I could already hear you in the comment section being like, bro, what a cop out. Razer's like everyone's favorite robot. Well, okay, that's kind of a lie. I know loads of people who don't like it. I'll get into reasons why after, but I just like Razer. I really like it, and I have several reasons as to why. Just because I find it to be such an entertaining robot. I know, like, Razer isn't a robot for everyone. I know loads of people find it boring and the way it slowly crushes into robots, but for me personally, I find it entertaining as all hell just seeing it crush a defenseless machine. It's cruel. It's absolutely cruel. But it's just hilarious to see Razer just beat up a robot that has absolutely zero chance in it winning. It's just funny. It's funny to me. Widow's Revenge versus Razer is one of my favourite fights of all time just because of how funny it is. And yeah, I will go into the mechanical breakdowns. They've had several mechanical breakdowns. And I'm not one of those Razer fans who, despite it being my favourite robot, I won't go off and be like, Razer's best robot of all time. No one can lose to Razer because no one can beat Razer because loads of people can beat Razer easily. Loads of people can beat Razer. Like, for example, 259, as overrated as I find it, I reckon they could beat Razer if they're getting a right good hit on the head. Disco Inferno has potential to beat Razer. Yeah, I said it. Hypnodisc can beat Razer. Tornado can beat Razer if they put on that cage that isn't a cheating thing. If they were cheating, then they would be disqualified from the series and banned from using it again, which they weren't, considering they used it 3 times. Stop calling them cheating bastards. Even the Razer team said it was an ingenious move. Sorry, that thing really aggravates me. It just makes the Razer fanbase just look bad. They've got a good crushing claw, and it's the best crusher. Actually, no, the best crusher now is Quantum, but in the classic series, they were the best crusher. And well, Tiberius 3 was not a terrible crusher. Ming 3 was. But now on to people who find Razer boring. Yeah, I could understand it. There are some robots that I find really boring, like Voltronic, and you could say, isn't Razer and Voltronic really similar in the way that they just get a robot in a position where they can't move and just leave them like that until it judges? Yeah, that is the case, but the reason why Razer's my favourite robot of all time, whereas Voltronic is my least favourite robot in the history of the world, it's a great robot, but it's so boring to watch, is, well, because, well, I have a massive nostalgia bias to it, and also in my opinion, I think a crusher is more entertaining than just seeing a little slow-moving lift. That sounds like I'm dissing Panic Attack. I'm not dissing Panic Attack. I'm dissing Voltronic because it's a boring wedge. But Razer, it has personality to it, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm really nostalgic for it. I'm very nostalgia biased to Razer, and in a personal list, if this was an objective list of best robots ever, robots like Razer and Disco Inferno and Gravity, they wouldn't even be on this list. But if on a personal list, where nostalgia carries a lot of weight, Razer tops every robot for me. Especially considering that one of my favourite episodes is the first World Championships, and Razer happened to win that. And I've seen the first World Championship so many times, I just grew to love Razer. So yeah, the reason Razer's my favourite robot of all time is because I'm heavily nostalgia biased to it. That's the real reason, folks! Anyway, thanks for watching my top 10 list on my top 10 favourite robots of all time. Feel free to like if you want, subscribe if you want, I don't know, do whatever you want. Comment about how, comment your favourite robots of all time. I'm just gonna get like tons of comments of everyone saying Firestorm or Razer, and then Robot Combat Models is gonna say Iron Ore. I'm gonna predict that's what the comment section will be of me saying that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, until next time, the bot builder out.